Welcome back to the channel. Some of you may not have had the time to see a recent community post, but just wanted to apologize for mistakes that are slipping through. Doing my absolute best. There's no excuse. I'll just try and do better moving forward. In today's recap, I'd like to focus in on Lufthansa Group and Virgin Atlantic in a bit more of a condensed episode. Let's begin with Lufthansa Group, who have published a quite considerable loss for the first half of the 2024 calendar year, with it coming in at 265 million euros all up. This, in hindsight, though, could have been a lot worse, as I'll dive into. The group did see revenues increase by 7% year over year. However, operating profit was down compared to 2023. Ultimately, most airlines and/or respective groups have also reported record revenues, and while this is definitely encouraging and something to applaud, it isn't the only part of a financial performance that is worth considering, and there can be many more underlying problems that take out the emphasis on record revenues. Operating expenses, for example, increased by 10%, and external systems that Lufthansa Group says it relies on did fail during the second quarter, and cost them a considerable amount of money, impacting their results. The group does cite a complex operating environment as impacting its overall performance and preventing it from reaching what they would probably describe to you as a stable state of affairs. In addition to that operating environment that I speak of, airlines within the group have battled increased costs, and this because of labour strikes and then the agreement of new contracts that came from this that boosted up overall wages, bonuses and benefits. However, one of the more standout problems has been the continued aircraft delivery delays from Airbus and Boeing. These next-gen aircraft types I'm focusing in on, whether single aisle or wide body, are supposed to be instrumental to the turnaround efforts at Lufthansa Group carriers. But an inability to deliver these on time has left these companies such as Austrian, Lufthansa, Swiss and more scrambling to cover for lost capacity and rising costs that they then face by retaining older and, you guessed it, less efficient types, or turning to the leasing market, maybe needing to overhaul the cabin product to ensure harmony across the fleet. Either way, it costs them more money than they would have initially predicted. As part of the latest half-year reporting, the group also simultaneously revealed several high-profile decisions that are set to unfold internally as part of efforts to turn those fortunes around. Most notably, Lufthansa, the flagship and largest airline in the group, is the center of attention for these turnaround initiatives. We know they were the carrier ultimately struck the hardest during strike action that took place not just in 2023, but at the beginning of this year as well. And now it's facing, or should I say it continues to face, persistent delivery delays. The many changes include the internal transfer of key aircraft to other key airlines in a bid to streamline and accelerate the development of these companies that call Lufthansa Group home as well. These movements are part of Lufthansa's efforts to shrink key aspects of its business to perform better in the future. At least this is something that they're hoping to achieve. It is not a guarantee. Despite the struggles, Lufthansa Group is still seeing very solid levels of demand across key markets, and this remains an encouraging point to build upon and one of the outlying positive areas. Unfortunately, when you look at other elements of the business that are continuing to see struggles to a certain degree, their importance has to be placed higher than just on demand. As for Virgin Atlantic, well, they'll be changing their route network for not the first time to respond to market trends. As part of the latest change, the airline will axe flying to several locations such as the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands. Flying to the Bahamas will cease at the end of February 2025, and other destinations that are being axed, despite still being fresh to the network, should be removed around the same point. Virgin Atlantic has continued to focus considerable resources on the optimization of its route network, and unfortunately this optimization that I speak of will see the continuous reviewing of network elements, and Virgin Atlantic will feel compelled to make changes where required. One of the more recent changes to the network was the airline announcing it would depart from mainland China as it ceases flying to Shanghai in the fourth quarter of this calendar year. Virgin Atlantic says route cancellations will enable greater connectivity to other markets, improving their financial performance and load factors in a more positive direction for their business. The route cancellations I speak of to the likes of the Bahamas coming in early 2025 are going to enable greater flying towards markets such as Cape Town and Barbados, among others, and this should benefit from 2025 onwards with additional capacity. As the industry continues to be highly competitive, airlines such as Virgin Atlantic do need to continue evolving, expanding their market presence, and finding ways to enhance their financial performance so they not just remain at expectations, but don't risk falling behind other competing companies. Furthermore, because of elevated operating costs, as touched on in the first part of this video with Lufthansa Group, many airlines have to make radical changes to consider maintaining a profit. When you've got higher wages and other expenses rising, it means some routes need to be cut for the greater good of the business. Doesn't mean they won't eventually look to return to these markets, but for now, it's not considered optimal. That'll conclude today's aviation recap. Any thoughts, you can let me know down below in the comments. Thank you very much for your support here. As always, I really do appreciate you sticking with me, doing my best here, and I appreciate it. And thank you for the feedback as well. Take care, be safe, and I'll see you tomorrow for your latest industry recap as well. Same place, same time.